So, without further ado, let's chant these prayers all together. And how do I exit that? Okay, good. All together. Shalakaya Chakshun Militangena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitangena Buddhave Sayang Rupa Kadamayan Tidati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Uta Parakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri-rupang Sagrajatang Sahagana Raghunath Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanan Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tiyubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Pradaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasatya Deshatarine. So we're going to talk about gratitude. And the ultimate gratitude, we want to offer our obeisances unto the spiritual master who opens our eyes from the darkness of ignorance. So we chant this. So jnana is ignorance, and timira is darkness, and andhyasya is blindness, the blindness caused by darkness. Which is ultimately is from our ignorance. So Gyananjana is like an ointment. When someone has a cataract in their eyes and they go blind, you can put some special ointment on it, but you'll also have to do shalakaya. You take a medical tool and remove the infected area of the eye. So the cataract is in the way. So, and then with the ointment of knowledge, it can be cured. So chakshur, the eyes, unmilitang can be opened. Yena, by whom? Tasmai, I offer unto him. Shri Guruve Namaha, the Shri Guru, I offer my obeisances. So we chant that every day. And that's ultimately what we can be most grateful for. You might have heard a song, it's pretty famous. Here comes the sun, do-do-do-do. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. You've heard this song? Stella, you like to sing. You've heard this song? You know who sings it? No. It's a bit before your time. It's George, what's that? It's before my time. It's George Harrison of the Beatles. They're quite a famous band. If you don't, everyone knows the Beatles, I think, right? But now as time goes on more and more, I don't know who everyone knows anymore. So, but actually George Harrison wrote that song in relation to Srila Prabhupada, and the sun was the light coming into his life and giving him relief from the darkness. And so similarly, all of the darkness, all of the misery, all of the sadness and depletion that we feel in this world, it's actually due to our ignorance, and it's not due to anything else. If we were given the ointment of knowledge, and an expert person took a shalakai or a medical instrument and cured us of our ignorance, then our eyes could be opened, and unto that person we should offer our obeisances, meaning we should be very grateful for that person. Now that's actually a rare thing. It's very rare that one gets a high-level spiritual master. It's very rare to even take a human birth. We should be grateful that we even have the opportunity to look at religion. But then, in human birth, if we can find a pure spiritual guide by somehow, we should be extremely grateful for that. But by good fortune, we're all connected to a lineage of spiritual guides brought here by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, whose books we're going to read. And on the very least, we should be grateful. We all have Srila Prabhupada, his movement, his books, and we can all be grateful for that. But we could be even more grateful if one of his representatives can come and personally open up our eyes. And then this will be the ultimate thing we can feel gratitude for. So, we'll go to Bhagavad Gita. We're going to do like one of the most important verses of Bhagavad Gita. It's part of the Chaturshloki. I told my wife to do a class on this the other day, and she refused. So now I'll have to do it today.
I refused.
You refused.
I had inspiration in my heart. I had to act on it.
Yes. So.
Meditations of the time.
Yes.
And I did 2 classes so far, and this was one of the 2 classes I already did.
Okay. No problem. I'm just teasing. So, you repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Te Shang Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upayanti Te. Okay, Tesham, unto them, Satata Yuktanam, always engaged. Bhajatam, in devotional service, or you could say even in worship. Priti Purvakam, in loving ecstasy. Dadami, I give. Buddhi Yogam, real intelligence. Tam, that. Yena, by which. Mam, unto me. Upayanti, come. Te, they. So to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So if you're devoted and you worship the Lord with love, He will give you the understanding by which you can come to Him. Meaning, He will give you real knowledge, Buddhi Yoga. And so, this is actually what we're looking for. And this knowledge we just mentioned in the past verse, this can destroy our ignorance and open our eyes to real life and to have real pleasure out of life. Because the pleasure that we're trying to seek currently in this world, it can't give us pleasure. We try and squeeze out as much pleasure as we can out of food. We try to squeeze out pleasure out of wealth, out of sex, out of, this, that, and the other thing in this world. But ultimately, there's only so much pleasure that can come from these things, and it only gets harder and harder to enjoy them as the body ages and approaches death. So if you rely only on these things, you'll be lost, and you'll be unhappy. And this is most of the world. Most of the world is actually unhappy. We should be grateful that someone, or some few people maybe in our life, are coming to us and trying to give us knowledge and trying to elevate us beyond the temporary things of this world which can't make us happy. But let's read. Prabhupada only gives 3 paragraphs here. He says, in this verse, the word Buddhi Yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the 2nd chapter, the Lord instructing Arjuna said that He had spoken to him of many things and that He would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained Buddhi Yogam itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. So Buddhi means intelligence, and Yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness and devotional service, his action is called Buddhi Yogam. In other words, Buddhi Yogam is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this, therefore the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, and the ultimate goal is achieved. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculations to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. So we all are trying to get into buddhi yoga. You've heard this word before, buddhi? Not like buddhi, not buddhi, like buddhi. You might have heard of the Buddha. Yes, the Buddha, yes. So this, means like the enlightened one, or Buddhi is intelligence. So we would like to have this full intelligence in mystic elevation, this Buddhi yoga. And the highest thing is Krishna consciousness, is connecting our intelligence to God. It says here that there's a step ladder. If you know the goal of life, is to connect to God, but you're still addicted to all the things of this world, you can do karma yoga. And if you know the goal of life, but you still take pleasure in mentally speculating and trying to philosophize and figure out all of the different semantics of life, this is jnana yoga. But if you know completely the goal and you seek God completely, like in devotional service, then you're acting in bhakti yoga or ultimately buddhi yoga, real intelligence. So this complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but still if he is not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be done with love. Work should be with love. If a devotee is intelligent enough, he will make progress on the path of self-realization. If one is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. So we could be grateful that even if we're not that intelligent, which maybe, I don't know about you, maybe myself, I'm not that intelligent, but by the actual process of Krishna consciousness, if we are engaged in serving the Lord, He'll arrange that the right person or the right circumstance will come that you'll have realization. It won't be empty. You won't have, it's not like, I'm spending all my time, I'm, singing songs, I don't even know what they mean, I'm doing this, and this activity every day. Actually, if you're doing them with love, the Lord from within, He'll inspire you and actually give you the higher intelligence and the knowledge and the understanding by which you can come to Him. Buddhi Yogam. So this is the Lord's promise and we can be grateful for this. But I wanted to pivot now and talk about a personality who was given this Buddhi Yogam, and his name was Raghunath Das Goswami. You've heard of Raghunath Das Goswami before? So Raghunath Das Goswami is, this is him right here. He's an incredible personality. He was the equivalent of like a millionaire, a multi-millionaire in a rich family 550 or so years ago. And his father and his uncle were like karma yoga devotees. They made a lot of money, but they believed in God and they thought they should use their money some way in for God. So somehow or other they used to have some festival for the Vaishnavas, and by good fortune, Haridas Thakur, I don't know, have you ever heard of Haridas Thakur? Another great Vaishnava devotee. But he was a completely renounced and completely surrendered and enlightened personality. And somehow when Raghunath was a young boy, he got the association of Haridas Thakur. And by that association, it actually completely transformed him. And he wasn't like the other kids. And he especially wasn't like a normal person in his situation. Like if you have a lot of money, you're usually going to try to enjoy the world more. That's what most people. That's why Krishna doesn't usually give us a lot of money. You know, when you're a devotee, Krishna, he usually pumps the brakes on a lot of money. Why? Because the tendency is to try to enjoy the money. That's what people want to do. They want to, try to enjoy the money. But Raghunath, he actually, even though he was a millionaire, he didn't really care to enjoy the money at all. He really just wanted to hear and associate with Vaishnavas. So that time in his youth with Haridas Thakur really profoundly impacted him. And then when it came some years later that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was performing his pastimes, he really, really wanted to hear from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so I forget exactly where the first meeting happened. But it so happened that he got to finally meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was just completely blown away by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Completely convinced this is the perfection of life. This personality is so amazing. I want to spend all of my time in this, and I will give up everything to do this. Everything. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he was a multimillionaire. He had a beautiful wife, a beautiful, beautiful wife. And he had all facilities. He didn't have to work. He had everything he needed. But none of it made him happy. Why? Because he experienced real happiness in the spiritual bliss of Haridas Thakur first and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he started doing crazy things. He would just run away from home. And he ran away from home, and he found wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was, and I think he met him in Shantipur at Advaita Acharya's house, and he partied with all the devotees who were having a festival there. And he stayed with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him an interesting instruction. He said, "How did you get here, Raghunath?" And he said, "Well, I left everything." "Well, don't your parents, aren't they worried about you?" And he said, "Maybe so, but I don't really care. I just want to, wherever you are, I want to be." So he, 18 years old, runs away from home. And it's very dangerous to run away, especially if you're a multimillionaire. Your parents are used to protecting you. You have so much money and wealth. You could get robbed or something like this. But he didn't care, and he ultimately went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave him an interesting instruction. He said, "Don't be a madman. Don't be a madman. Go back home and you honor your parents and your position, your work that you're doing. And on the outside, you do all the activities that a normal person does, but on the inside, you think of me always. And Krishna, when the time is right, he will fulfill this position." So this is good for us to know too. Because sometimes we can have spiritual realization and then we say, "That's it, I'm just dropping everything. I don't want this anymore, I don't want that anymore, I'm getting rid of all of it." Like for instance, if I had some spiritual realization of, that the highest happiness is being a saintly monk in the saffron order, like completely, then tomorrow I'd say I'd leave my wife, I'd leave my child, trust Krishna will take care of them. And I go. But actually, this isn't recommended, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't recommend this for Raghunath. So what ended up happening is Raghunath, he went back home, and he actually had, he returned. And this wasn't the first time that he tried to run away. He tried to run away like multiple times, but his parents kept catching him, and they hired bodyguards to look after Raghunath because he was like kind of it seemed like a crazy person that always is trying to run away and go and hang out with these Vaishnavas, and we don't know who they are. And so Anyhow, well, they knew who they were, but they didn't agree with this activity of his. So finally, when he came back home, they were surprised, but then they kept very special care on him. And they make sure that he was always watched 100% of the time. So Raghunath stopped trying to run away, and he did his business as usual in the kingdom. And he ultimately, he ran the businesses for the family. But one time he got arrested, actually, because his uncle, they were like great landowners, and they got in a conflict with the Muslim rulership, and the Muslim governor came and captured him looking for his, I think, father and uncle. And so ultimately there's a whole big pastime. It's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita if you're ever interested in reading about Raghunath Das Goswami. But Raghunath Das Goswami was able to detach even more from material life through this experience, and then also help to purify this Muslim ruler. But what ended up happening is that Raghunath Das Goswami eventually he got out of this situation, and he decided that the whole purpose of his life, because he was actually kind of close to death, the whole purpose of his life is just to pursue the Lord. So, but he was following the Lord's instructions, and he was at a festival, and he met Nityananda Prabhu sometime. You might have heard of it, the Panihati festival. Maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't heard. It's a very nice festival. It happens once a year. But it takes place when Nityananda Prabhu, he sees Raghunath from a distance. And he knows of Raghunath Das Goswami because Raghunath was the young boy who ran away and chased Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was there when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent him back. And Raghunath, he said, Raghunath, why are you cheating me? And Raghunath he's very humble and shy, and he's just bowing from a distance. He doesn't even want to come close. He's like, Raghunath, you come here. You're a cheater. You're cheating me. So Raghunath comes to him, and he bows at his feet. And said Raghunath, and he says, Raghunath, he says to all the Vaishnavas, Raghunath is trying to take my property, but he's not even getting my permission. And so actually this is Nityananda Prabhu is actually the first guru who can connect you to God. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God, but in order to get to God, you need to go through certain personalities. So the first is Nityananda Prabhu as the form of guru. You know, he said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is my property, but he is trying to take him by force. So Raghunath Das bows before him and very humbly. And so then Nityananda Prabhu, he says, fine, you can have my mercy. With my blessing, you'll get what you desire. And he puts his feet on Raghunath's head, which is very, very important that we get the mercy of the feet of the advanced Vaishnava or the Guru. And so this is what Nityananda was, and Raghunath got his mercy. So then Nityananda Prabhu, he instructed Raghunath, all right, here's what you do. If you're really surrendered, this is what you do. So Raghunath, he asked, what do you want me to do? And Nityananda Prabhu said, let's have a festival for all the Vaishnavas. Take all that money you have and spend it for the benefit of the Vaishnavas. And so he organized like a whole giant festival for all the Vaishnavas, and he spent like hundreds and thousands of dollars equivalent just to please all the Vaishnavas. And then after he did that, it's called the Panihati festival. Then he said that Krishna will give you an opportunity to go soon. And lo and behold, one day he was with his spiritual master, who is Yadunanda Acharya, and they were going to visit a godbrother of his or another disciple of Yadunandana. And normally the bodyguards are always watching him. But because he is with his spiritual master, his guru, they didn't want to disturb him. So they let him go with the spiritual master. And then on the way there, Raghunath said to his spiritual master, he's like, I'll take care of the errand for the disciple. You go back. I'll handle this. So his spiritual master said, okay, that's a good idea. His Diksha Guru, Yadunandana Acharya, and he got his mercy. And then he went and he performed the duty for the disciple, but then he just, instead of going back home, he ran away. And he ran all the way to Jagannath Puri, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. And he became a completely renounced saint. He gave up wife, he gave up family life, he gave up all his money, he gave up everything, but he had this desire for a long time. But he finally did get the blessings of the Lord, and he had the intelligence given to him by the Lord on how to do it. Because he was always being troubled. His parents were millionaires, and they had bodyguards looking after him 24 hours a day. But by good fortune, Krishna finally arranged that he could go. And then after that, he spent so much time with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he spent time with another guru figure named Sarup Damodar Goswami. And then eventually, when they left this world, he went to Vrindavan, actually he wanted to kill himself. He was so distraught that they all left. And but when he got there, he met Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, and they knew his plan, and they convinced him not to, based on the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they ultimately recruited him in being one of the Bhajananandi Goswamis, or one who performs worship in Radhakund. And he composed so many prayers, and I'm going to go through a few prayers of Raghunath Das Goswami. And if you are fortunate enough to understand these prayers, I chose this today because Raghunath Das Goswami, he's very, very advanced in spiritual life. Meaning he's only pursuing God, and he's seeing what's getting in the way in his mind, and he's seeing what is he really grateful for, what is he really relying on. And so it was Thanksgiving, and the theme is gratitude today, and we can hear his prayer of what he's grateful for, what he's hanging on to, and battling. His mind is at every step of the way trying to engage him in nonsense activities, because that's the nature of the mind. Due to its ignorance, our mind's ignorance, it's always convincing us to do things that we should not do, almost against our will. Arjuna says this in Bhagavad Gita. So, why don't we read this verse? If you want, you can sing it with me. I was reading that wrong the whole time. Swantar Bratash. I was saying Swantar Datas, so I'm glad I reread it today. So, okay. So these are the things that he's grateful for. Guru, having spiritual guidance in his life via the Guru. Guru itself means one who eradicates ignorance. This is very, very much recommended, and this should be the whole goal of human life, is to seek out a guru, seek out a teacher. Many times for, like traditionally, let's say you're a family. Traditionally, only the husband would have to seek out a guru, and then the wife could, through her husband, get all of the knowledge also imparted to her, and so could the children, like this. And then when the child is older, he can also seek out a guru. But we should always be seeking out a guru. And it's not that you just have one guru. You should always be seeking out someone more advanced than you in spiritual knowledge that can help you. Because this person is a sign from the Lord, trying to get you closer to the Lord. So this is the first thing he's grateful for. Goshle is the Vrindavan Dham. This is the place where so many gurus and sadhus gather. So Krishna performs all of his pastimes there, and if you go to Vrindavan or even Navadvip and you visit these places, everything reminds you of Krishna. Everyone reminds you of Krishna. It's actually a perfect, amazing thing. So he's very grateful. So he's actually calling out for these things. Guru, Goshte, Goshtai Laishu are the people of that Dham. Why? The people of that Dham, they're also saturated completely, always thinking about Krishna. They're always thinking about God, and they're trying to act in this way. And Sujane is, Su is auspicious, Jane is like association. So Sujane is the most auspicious association are the devotees. So these are things that he's extremely grateful for, and he's calling out actually in desperation. He's calling out, begging for these things. And Basura Gane are the Brahmins, or the spiritually enlightened personalities in society. So he's calling out to these things. Then he's saying Swamantre. Everyone, when you get initiation into spiritual life, you're given mantras. And those mantras actually help direct your consciousness on who you surrender to. And so ultimately they help you surrender to Guru, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and ultimately Krishna. So the mantras that you're given by your Guru become very exceedingly important to the devotee. Shrinam, Shrinamni. These are the Mahamantra. We're calling out the names of the Lord. He's so much calling out for them, and he's seeing the value in them so much, and we should also see the value. And then last, Rajanava Yuva Dvandva Sharane. This is the ever-fresh, youthful, loving couple of Raj, which is Radha and Krishna. So these are the things that he's actually most grateful for. And then he's saying, Sada, always, Dambang, wants pride. This is our biggest issue, is that we think we're fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. What I'm doing is fine. This is actually our biggest issue. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we're not fine. At the end of the day, we're not doing well. At the end of the day, we're not prepared to accept death. At the end of the day, if you, most living entities have basically no connection with God at all, and really can't feel connected to Him in any meaningful way. So always our pride, dambang, hitva, give it up. And then kuru means adopt, ratim, love, and apurvam means the like unprecedented, never before seen love. Atitaram means intense. Adopt this never before seen and intense love for all of these things. Guru, the Goshte, the holy places, Goshtalaisha, the people of the holy places, Sujane, the Vaishnavas, the devotees, and Basuragane, the spiritually enlightened personalities, the Brahmins. Our mantras that we're given, the holy names, and the Radha and Krishna ultimately, the personalities of Godhead performing pastimes in Vraj. And then he says, Ayeswantar Bratash, O mind, my dear brother, he's calling his mind brother. Chatubir, I'm sweetly praying, Abhiyache. Chatubir, I'm sweetly, Abhiyache, praying. And he says, Drita Pada, I'm holding your feet, please praying. Dear mind, be attached to these things. This is what we should be grateful for. If we have any of these things in our life, if we have any aspect of Guru in our life, this is very good. And there's 3 different types of Guru. You don't realize, I have no Guru, I'm screwed. Everyone has some form of Guru in their life. Does anyone know the first Guru that you have in this world? Yeah, your parents. Your parents are your first Guru. They teach you so many things. You're completely helpless. And they teach you how to walk, how to eat, how to do practically everything that you need to do. So in ordinary circumstances in this world, we have a debt to our parents and forefathers, to the demigods, and to society at large. Because so many people helped us along the way. Our parents helped us, our relatives helped us, our school teachers helped us. So many people helped us in this world. But then ultimately, when you gain the most intelligence, you realize that everything's actually happening through God. And then ultimately, the personality who's going to help you get closer to God, this is the most important Guru. But the 3 main Gurus that you should focus on are, first, the Vartma Pradarshika Guru, the Guru who shows you the way. Like, I was talking to, where's Kumar been, Tej? Kumar, our friend. But he was saying he actually helped you the one time. He was telling me how you first came to the temple. And even though you were going back in New York many years ago, he told you that, hey, there's a temple nearby. Come, and somehow or other you made it here. And so actually he acted as a Vartma Pradarshika Guru in some way into your life. He acted as someone who helped bring you to Krishna consciousness even deeper. So Madhav goes out to the store, and he sits there with a table and he talks to many people, and he's acting as a Vartma Pradarshika Guru for people. Not that if everyone acted and doing everything that Madhav did, they might not reach spiritual perfection, but he can help them, he can help show the way. So in that way, that's a type of Guru, Vartma Pradarshika Guru. And then the most important Guru is the Shiksha Guru, the Guru who's giving you instructions, who can actually help you, who has some experience in spiritual life and in the field that you're trying to go down. And they can give you practical instruction. Usually there are some qualifications who could act as a Shiksha Guru in your life. Like usually an older person, the older in age, they'll usually want at least a Shiksha Guru around their age or older than them. It wouldn't be good if I was acting as a Shiksha Guru to like a 60-year-old man, or even a 45-year-old man. It's not really an appropriate relationship. So like this. So it doesn't have to be like that, but it's almost certainly... but you should find somebody who's more experienced in life than you, and they can help you and give you practical instructions. And then the last is, if such a potent instructing personality is there and can initiate you and fully give you shelter and give you the process by which you can reach perfection in initiation, then this is also the Diksha Guru, and it's very, very important as well. So anyway, Raghunath Das Goswami had all of these gurus. He had his Diksha Guru in Yadunandan Acharya, even though he left his Diksha Guru. And then he went to his main Shiksha Guru, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him another Shiksha Guru in Swarup Damodar Goswami. And then after they left this world, he also wanted to leave the world, but he found Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, and he found that they were Shiksha Gurus to him. And so always be like Raghunath Das Goswami is seeking Guru. And it's not that you just seek one Guru your whole life and you're finished. All right, I found a Guru. But what happens when he leaves this world? You'll still need spiritual guidance. This is the secret to making advancement. Not to try to do things on your own, is to try to find an advanced personality and get their mercy, get their blessings. So, very important. The holy places we mentioned, how saturated they are with guru-like personalities. They have so many saintly personalities. All of the places that Krishna performed activities are there. Everything can remind you of Krishna in the holy places. Just like when you come to a temple, every which way you look, there's a painting of Krishna or a spiritual personality. You look on the altar, everything is Krishna related. So similarly, when you go to the holy Dham, the whole city, the whole place is just saturated with spiritual consciousness. So this is very good. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, Frida. Yes. No, it's okay. You're doing great. So the people there are very special as well as a result. The Vaishnavas, the people who are bringing you to the Lord, are very special in your life. You should be very grateful for them. And Basura Gane, any spiritual, the Brahminical class of people who are engaged in pursuing the absolute truth, we should be grateful for them because they're always trying to help us make advancement. We have our wonderful mantras. I think here my wife and I are maybe the only ones currently here that may have done that. But your initiation mantras are quite beautiful, and they can help set your consciousness every day on the right track. And Shri Nam is the the holy names of the Lord. This is what's going to purify us. This is what's going to connect us to the Lord. This is the Lord. This is our connection to the Lord. So we're always having the holy names of the Lord on our lips. And then ultimately those holy names are indicating Vrajanavayuvadvandva Sharane, this beautiful couple, Radha and Krishna. So if we give up our pride, we'll actually develop intense love for these personalities. Because if we don't have any attachment to these things, it's simply because we're proud. It's simply because we're arrogant, actually. So my humble request is to give up your pride. Don't be arrogant. Don't think that you're fine as is. Oh no, God, me and God are great. That's not true, actually. God will never forsake you. He won't send you to an eternal hell. But until you accept His these things of His, you'll never be able to more confidentially know Him. So if you have any aspect of Guru in your life, whether it's even a Shiksha, an instructing Guru, or any connection with any of these things in your life, you should be exceedingly grateful for them. But we all have a connection with the holy name, the chanting of the Radha and Krishna's mantra, the Maha Mantra. We all have connection to the Sujan, the Vaishnavas. Some of us, like Devanshu, are born in Basura Gane, Brahminical standards, people who are following Vedic life. So we should be very grateful for all of these things and give up our pride. If we're not prioritizing these things in our life, it's simply due to our pride and due to our arrogance and ignorance. We're prioritizing other things instead. So he's sweetly praying to his mind, please, I'm holding your feet. Let me develop intense love for them. Let's see what the next one is, whether it'll be relevant. This one's nice. I think I was this one's good. It goes, maybe we'll sing it together. You got the tune from last time. So this is going to be hard for everyone to understand, but we'll try. He's saying Nadharmang. So Dharma is the religious activities mentioned in the Vedas. He's saying no Dharma, and then na Dharmang. Adharma is the activities that are forbidden in the Vedas. And he's saying don't do that either. Shruti Gana Niruktam is like that which is heard in the Vedas. Kila Kuru. So he's saying, indeed, performance of these, he's saying, nah, don't perform these things. And then he's saying, Vrajay Radha Krishna Prachura Paricharyam Iha Tanu. So he's saying in Vraj, Radha Krishna with profuse service. Here, Tanu, you should do that instead. So remember, he was a completely renounced personality. He had given up everything else. Dharma, Adharma, and he just completely surrendered unto his gurus and unto Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and now he's serving Radha and Krishna in the Holy Land. But then, this is another part where we can be grateful. He's saying, Shachi Sunum, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nandishwarapati Sutatve, which is Krishna, the son of the Lord of Nandagram, which is Nandishwarapati. And then Guru Varang, our spiritual master. Mukunda Preshtate, that person, that spiritual master is dear to Krishna. So Smara, always remember them. Param, rather than the Dharma and Adharma, these other things that we're doing in life. Ajashram, always. Nanu, indeed, Manaha, oh mind. Don't worry about the worldly religion, Dharma, and don't worry about Adharma. Just focus on your service to Radha and Krishna. This is his This is his prayer. And then he's always trying to remember who? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, and then his guru, who is leading him. And this, he's saying, always remember these things. Always remember them. So again, we should be grateful. I mean, the fact that we actually have the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very little people know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world. Very little people know. Even most Indians who are born with so much Vedic wisdom, if you ask them about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only a handful actually know practically anything about him. So we should be really grateful, really, really grateful that we have the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This whole movement that you're seeing, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. These are his instructions. Prasadam, the deity worship, the chanting of the mantras. This is all ancient Vedic, but he was the one who popularized it 500 years ago and made it go widespread. And he, when the essence of religion was lost, he restored that all across India, and then it spread all over the world through Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Varga. So let's maybe go, but then there's going to be some obstacles. There's many things that are going to get in our way. It says, all right, that sounds great. I'll give up all my dharma and adharma, and I'll just worship the Lord. But not going to happen. Lalita, did you text me again?
No.
Oh, okay, good. So, well, maybe you should have texted me. But I feel I would have felt really bad if I missed your text again. So,
Did you walk here, Lolita?
where'd she go?
She might be in the other room.
Yes. So let's read this verse. Yadiche Rama Samraja Bhubi Saragam Pratijano Ubadvanam Tachet Parichari Tumaradavi Lashe Swarupam Shri Rupam Saganam Yatasya Gajamani Spuktam Premna Nityan Smaranamatadatvam Shri Manaha. He's saying, Yadicher, Yadi is if, Icher, if you desire, Avasang, to reside, because he was talking about doing his service in the Holy Land of Vrindavan. If you desire to reside in Vrajabhuvi, the land of Vraj, or Vrindavan, Saragam. Ragam is practicing Raganuga Bhakti, or following in the footsteps of those who have intense attachment to Krishna. Pratijanor, birth after birth, because this is actually what the devotee wants. They want a birth after birth. Wherever they end up, they want to be in a place where they can serve Krishna and follow those who are more deeply serving Krishna. So Yuva Dvandvam, he's saying this loving couple, or this youthful couple, Tatshet, if you, yes, and if, and if that loving couple, Radha and Krishna, Paricharitum, you want to serve them, Ara directly, Abhilashe, if you have that desire, then back to the gratitude. Swarupang Shri Rupang Saganam Ihatasya Grajamapi. He's saying, remember these personalities. This personality, Swarup Damodar Goswami. Actually, if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is one of our scriptures, the whole, actually, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami got this all from Raghunath Das Goswami. So if you read our main scripture, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the whole second half is coming from Raghunath Das Goswami. But where did Raghunath Das Goswami get all of this knowledge and pastimes? From Swarup Damodar Goswami. So he's calling out to Swarup Damodar because this is the personality that, and it was interesting, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have been Raghunath Das Goswami's guru, but he said, no, you go to Swarup Damodar. This person will help you. This is the way of the Lord. The Lord is not going to personally associate with you. And even if he does personally associate you, like Raghunath Das Goswami, he still might give you a guru. The Lord himself has a guru. Like for instance, the Vishaka, she's known as the guru of all the gopis, including Radha and Krishna's guru. So this principle of guru is very important to the Lord. He acted as Arjuna's guru in Bhagavad Gita. but he himself even takes instructions from gurus. So these are all of Raghunath Das Goswami's gurus. He sings Swarupam and Sri Rupam, Swarup Damodar and then Rupa Goswami and Saganam and their associates. Iha in Braj, Tasya Grajam is also the elder brother of Rupa, who is Sanatan Goswami as well. So Svutang is saying distinctly, Premna with love, Nityam always, Smara Nama, remember and bow to them, and offer obeisances to them. Tada means then. Tvang you hear me, O mind. He's like begging them. If you really want to achieve this highest destination, then you have to remember these personalities and bow down to them and offer your obeisances to them. So these are the people we should be grateful. We should be grateful for the great sages and saints that we get these teachings from. Like we have all these scriptures. If you haven't read any of the scriptures, you're missing out on something really wonderful that you can be grateful for. So please, at some point, try to read all these scriptures. This is because these personalities who are composing these scriptures, who are preserving these scriptures and enlightening us through these scriptures, they actually can unlock a level of life that we can't even imagine how great it is. So, Raghunath Das Goswami, he was fortunate enough to actually experience this. So now, this is where the obstacles start coming in. It says, all right, that all sounds great. I'll just remember my gurus. I'll remember all the things I'm supposed to do. But there are going to be things that get in our way. And so this is one of the things that get in the way. I know this is like probably the biggest thing that gets in my way. So this is a funny verse, actually. Actually, all the next verses are actually really funny. He gives a lot of really funny analogies. He compares to all of our bad qualities to pretty funny analogies. So anyway. Sadvarta Vishya Visrijamati Sarva Swaharini Gadabhunti Vyapyana Shrinu Lila Sarvatra Gilani Apityaktva Lakshmi Patirati Vito Vyomanayini Raje Radha Krishna Swarati Manidotvam Vajamanama. Okay. So, remember we had some Bhagavad Gita class. I did it maybe 2 weeks ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago, where it was about asat and sat. You remember this? Was anyone here for that? You were here for asat and sat. And how important, we kind of just talked about it yesterday when we had our little program yesterday, how important it was to do eternal things, sat things saturated in truth, and how much we should avoid asat things. So, the first thing that the first instruction in Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita is what? Vacha Vegam. So, to control the speech. So this is similarly, asadvarta is untrue talks, or talks about temporary things, talks about material things. Worldly talks about the weather, talks about sports, politics, money, finances, all these things. Vesha is like a prostitute. The prostitute of untrue talks. We're very attracted, maybe I should watch my, the prostitutes in history have always been very attractive to society, especially by today's standards. It's a crazy world out there. But ultimately, you used to get married, but those who really couldn't be satisfied in their marriage, they would associate with prostitutes. But prostitutes were known for degrading one. If you associate with a prostitute, and there's a very famous verse, a very famous pastime in the Bhagavatam where Ajamil falls into, in his beginning of his life, he had so much good Brahminical training, but he saw a prostitute kissing another man, and he became very attracted to this prostitute, and he ended up chasing after this prostitute and ultimately it led to downfall of his life, where he became very sinful for many years. And it wasn't until the end of his life that he was able to reclaim his connection to the Lord. But so asadvarta, or untrue talks, are compared to a prostitute. And what does a prostitute usually do? Is they will plunder all of your wealth. They'll take all of, that's what they're doing. They're for hire. They take all of your wealth and then they engage it for their services. So he's saying asadvarta vesha, untrue talks, or talks of temporary things. Visraja mati. Where did Lalita go, by the way?
She's in the kitchen.
Oh, okay. Visraja, you should abandon her. Abandon this prostitute. Mati sarvasva harani. Why? Because our mati is our intelligence. Remember we were talking about by Buddha Yoga, by real intelligence, we can come to Krishna. Our mati is intelligence, sarvasva, which is all of our wealth. Everyone is talking about collecting wealth. Do you know what the greatest wealth is that you can have? What? Yes, but the instrument by which you can use knowledge is intelligence. Devotional intelligence. If you have real intelligence or Buddha Yoga, this is actually the greatest wealth you can have. And he's saying, you should abandon this prostitute of untrue talks, because Harani, she steals all of your greatest wealth. So we should be very careful about what we talk about. There's so many topics to talk about in this material world. And we always want to talk about, and I know myself, I get up here and I have my dedicated time. I talk spiritual things with everybody. And then I go downstairs and it's just me and my wife. And then I want to unload on all of the asat talks that I've been missing out on for the past 6 hours or something like that. So, but this actually destroys, it steals your intelligence. You should abandon this. And please hold me accountable. In public, I'm good. I can all right, let's talk of set things. But then when I get free from everyone else, and then all the asat things that are coming up in my mind, I want to talk about. But this is actually, this will steal our intelligence. So we should abandon this. And it's compared to a prostitute. And so just like a prostitute, if we associate with her, she's only looking for us for our... she wants something out of us. She wants our wealth. And she wants to, kind of plunder us. So we should abandon such a relationship. So similarly, our untrue talks, we should abandon such a relationship with these things. So then he says, Katha mukti vyagriya. Katha means talks of mukti, talks of liberation, talks of salvation from sufferings, oneness, trying to no longer experience suffering in this world. It's actually considered to be vyagriya. A vyagriya is like a tigress. So he's saying, no, do not shrinu, do not hear these talks of how to try to get liberated. Kila, they'll indeed, sarvatma gilani. Sarvatma is all souls, gilani, it'll devour all souls. If you listen, especially in India, there's many philosophies like the Mayavad philosophy. They talk about moksha or mukti being the highest principle. And they ultimately, many of them, they want to dissolve all personality altogether and then reunite to the one true Brahman, or the one true connection with spirit. But actually... it literally, sarvatma gilani, it devours the whole existence of a soul. You were made a soul, an individual soul, for a reason. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, never did I not exist, nor you, nor any of these kings, nor shall any of us cease to be in the future. Meaning that we all have identity forever. And if you try to achieve this mukti and merge back with the original source of God, then you actually are trying to devour your soul. So don't listen to these talks, he's saying. So he's saying, first, don't talk about temporary things, asat things of this world, worldly things, politics, sports, Like most of our families are at Thanksgiving and that's all they're talking about. I know my family is, probably talking about sports or money or this, that, and the other thing. And all of these things will rob your intelligence. But then sometimes there's another class of people who they talk about, the uselessness, the futility of these things, but they talk about achieving mukti or how you can merge into the transcendence. But actually, he's saying, never hear these things as well. And then this one's going to be, I shared this with you guys. This verse, I don't remember in the kitchen, I shared this with you guys. But then he says, Api tyaktva lakshmi patirati mito vyoma nayanim. And he says, even tyaktva, reject, Lakshmi Pati. Who's Lakshmi Pati? Vishnu, Narayan, yes. Ratim, like love, like affection for Narayan. Ito, thus Vyoma, the Vaikuntha world, Nayanim, which leads to the Vaikuntha world. So even reject this. Why? Why would he reject that? That's like Jesus is talking about this kingdom of God where where God exists and everyone can exist in service to him. And he's referring to Vaikuntha, what's mentioned in the Vedas as Vaikuntha. But why should we reject this?
Takes us away from worshipping Radha and Krishna and Vraj.
Yeah, it takes us away from a more even confidential and more pleasurable existence with God. So this aspect of God is Lakshmi Pati. This is for a certain class of people who ultimately aren't eligible to experience God in the most sweet way that he is in his Krishna and Vrindavan form. And so he's saying even reject this because it's... and then he's saying what he should do instead. Vraje Radha Krishna Swarati Manido Tvang Bhajamanaha. This is saying in Vraj, Radha Krishna, Swarati, they're giving their own love for them. Money is like a jewel, dough. They're bestowing this jewel to us, Tvam. You worship them, O mind. So if you worship them, you'll get this beautiful jewel of their love. So this is what we're looking for. So, do you guys mind? Because we're all a little late. We started a half hour late. Can we go to 7:15? Is that okay? Yes. Does anyone object to going to? We'll end in 10 minutes and then we'll do arti and then that's it. Yes.
I have one question.
Yes.
So if we are asking to reject the Lakshmi Pati, which is Narayan,
Yes.
does that mean we need to move towards more selfless love towards God, which is just through our bhakti, without any goals or without any selfishness of going to it?
Yeah, always. But you could even do that and worship Lakshmi Pati. Even those who worship Narayan, they can be completely selflessly worshiping Narayan. But at the same time, it's saying reject this because there is something much sweeter in Radha Krishna and Vraj. But even if you're a pure bhakta, because you can't go to Vaikuntha unless you're pure anyway. If you're a motivated worshipper, you're not going to go. So no matter whether you go to Vaikuntha or not, you have to do that. But even higher is once you're already a pure worshipper of the Lord, is to then maybe recognize the Lord's most sweetest aspect as Radha and Krishna. And to see how associating with Radha and Krishna gives a higher jewel than even that Lakshmi Pati Narayan is giving in Vaikuntha. So this is a little bit of a kind of deep esoteric stepladder, but everyone here is pretty able to hear these things. But we have to give up untrue talks, even talks of liberation, and then even developing affection for, you could say, lower forms of worship of the Lord, when the highest form of worship may be available. So anyway, this is his prayer, because remember, he's completely fixed on the goal at this point. He's actually the Acharya who is teaching us the goal, the ultimate goal of life. But if you understand his prayers, and you imbibe them, you'll yourself be guided very nicely. Let's maybe do one more verse. This is a important verse because it's another set of obstacles. There's many obstacles in this prayer. He talks about all the obstacles in the mind to achieving a good spiritual goal. And if we work on these obstacles, we'll and he tells us the solution. Like this verse will talk about the solution to how we can overcome this obstacle. So chant along. Sach cheshta, kashta, pradavikata pasha, prakama kamadi, prakata padapati, vyati kurai, gale badma hanye, hamiti vakabi, martma bagane, kudutvam futkara, navati sayata, tvam manayitaha. So we talked about asadvarta vesha. Asadvarta are not true talks. And then asach cheshta are untrue activities, or meaning sinful or wicked activities. So these things, kashta, prada vikata pashalabir, are like torturous, dreadful ropes. And so iha, in this material world, here in this material world. So first, we talk about asadvarta, we talk about nonsense things. And then asach cheshta, we do nonsense things. We do things that have nothing to do with God realization. They have nothing to do with anything eternal. They're only having to do with trying to achieve some material objective. So all the sinful activities all of the sense pleasures you can imagine in this world. All of the trying to enjoy food, trying to enjoy sex, trying to enjoy this. These are all considered as such cheshta. So they're like torturous, dreadful ropes binding us in this world. And then he's saying, who's doing it? Prakamang kamadi. He's saying that our licentiousness, our lusty desires, kamadi, which the source from the source of lust, but they lead to like greed and anger as well. All sinful activities, it stems in lust, the desire to try to enjoy in this material world. Prakata pathapati vyati karai. They're like assembled aggressors on the open road. So I don't know if back then you would travel on the open roads, but they had problems where on certain parts of the path. Maybe robbers would gather, and then they would gather and they'd mug you. Even if you go to downtown Syracuse at the wrong time of night, you're going to get mugged. That's just it depends if you're like a soft personality. Like if someone sweet like Devanshi was walking down at the ghetto part of Syracuse at the wrong time of night, no doubt Devanshi is going to get mugged maybe. So, and what's to speak of ladies? We had this one girl. She's actually the president of the Hindu club in Syracuse. Sahana, remember when I don't even know if she got mugged, but she ended up giving away all her money to someone who but anyway, yeah, so this happens.
This person came to I think ask for a little money, but she got scared, just gave the wallet. She's innocent, she's
yeah. So anyway, but sometimes this happens. But our lusty desires are compared to assembled aggressors who are binding us with dreadful, torturous ropes. And then he's saying, Gale badva hanyeham. Gale badva, they're binding those dreadful, torturous ropes of wicked deeds. Remember, this is all of our nonsense activities of this world. They're binding us by the neck, hanyeham, and killing me. I'm being killed by them. E.T. thus, but he has a solution. Bakabid, the killer of Baka, which is Krishna, Vartmapa Gane, are the ones who are showing the path to Krishna. He's saying, Kuru, loudly. Tvang, you, Futkaran, you call out to them. Avati, for protection. Sa, so that they, Yatha, as a result, Tvang, you, O mind, Mana, Tvang, Mana, you, O mind, Itaha, you can be delivered. So you can be delivered, how? if you call out to the Vaishnavas, reach out to the Vaishnavas, reach out to the devotees of the Lord, they will correct you of all of your nonsense activities. They will help you because someone has already helped them stop the nonsense activities. So they can, they can help you stop your nonsense activities. If you're caught up in all kinds of nonsense activities, this is the solution. And we don't realize it, but these nonsense activities, they're torturing us, and they're dreadful. They're causing all kinds of dreadful situations in our life. And it's all due to our own lust to try to enjoy in this world. But that lust is stealing away. It's like robbing us, mugging us like aggressors on the open road. And it's actually binding our neck and killing us slowly. But if we call out to the Vaishnavas, for protection, they'll deliver us. So this is actually Raghunath Das Goswami's recommendation. So just call out to the Vaishnavas and you'll be helped. Some of us now in today's age, we have our gurus on like a speed dial. We can call our gurus and things like this. It's amazing, actually. Never before in history could you do like that. But actually, there was maybe even more benefit in history because oftentimes you would live, it was simple village life, and you would live usually with or near the guru, and then you could always have their association that way. So anyway, if you do like this, you can be saved from doing nonsense or wicked activities. So if you have that problem in your life, don't worry. You call out, reach out to the Vaishnavas. They'll help you. And then you'll be saved. So we should be grateful for the Vaishnavas. You're going to see a theme in this prayer. He's reaching out. He's always trying to remember and engage his mind in thinking of the Vaishnavas. Because the Vaishnavas, they exhibit it all. They're carrying Krishna, actually. They're your pathway to associate with Krishna. It's not that we're so special and great that on our own so-called strength that we're actually able to achieve Krishna. No, because we're prakamang and kamadi, our own lusty desires are mugging us on the open road, taking us away from Krishna. So call out to the Vaishnavas for protection. They'll help you. So this is Raghunath Das Goswami's prayer. It's very nice. If you learn this prayer, if you learn his strategy, this is how you get rid of anartha nivritti. You practice this strategy. And so you call out, you reach out to the Vaishnavas, and they can help you. So, last verse. This is my favorite one. It's, so many so many really funny analogies. This is another really good one. Cheta pradyat kapata kukti nati bharakara sharan muchre snatmada hasikatamatra ramabhima siddhatvam gandava giridharavata prema vilasa sudam bodho snatvasnamabhinitaram mamcha sukaya. This is teaching us how we can actually be happy. And he's saying, Are Cheta, O mind. Pradyat. The pradyat is like an expanded or like fully developed. Here, kapata and kutinati. Kapata is deceit. Being, duplicitous, saying one thing and then doing another one, or having secret hidden intentions, or saying, we all have these problems. Kapata is deceit, and kutinati is hypocrisy. Externally we look like we're doing one thing, but internally there's all kinds of not good things happening. Badakara, this is compared to like a great donkey. So this fully developed donkey of deceit and hypocrisy. Now this is where it gets a little funny. He's saying, Sharan mutre, trickling urine. He's trickling its urine. Snatva, in which we're bathing in this donkey's urine. Dahasi, burning. I guess donkey's urine isn't so, easy on the skin. So anyway, donkey's urine would burn the skin. Dahasi, he's saying, is burning. Katham, how? Oh, he's saying why? Why are you bathing in this donkey's urine, dahasi atmanam, and burning yourself? Api, and me as well. So he's begging his mind, why are you bathing in this donkey's urine of deceit and hypocrisy? We don't realize, but when we act deceitful and hypocritical, that the only person we're hurting is ourselves, not the person we're deceiving. Not that and not especially if you're deceitful to the Vaishnavas, those who are really trying to help you, you're especially hurting yourself, like bathing in donkey's urine. So why are you burning yourself, and me as well? He's begging his mind not to do these things. But then he's giving another solution, which is very nice. He's saying, Sada, always, Tvam, you, Gandharva Giridhara. Gandharva is Srimati Radhika, the master of, Gandharva is like singers, the master of like heavenly singers. Giridhara, and Giridhara is the one who holds Giriraj, Krishna. Pada Prema Vilasat, whose feet arouse prema, or arouse love. So if you just simply always, for them, seek their feet, which are going to arouse love, Sudam Bodho, and in pure nectar, in an ocean of pure nectar. So Sudam Bodho. So if you snatva, if you bathe in that ocean of pure nectar of the feet of Gandharva and Giridhara, of Radha and Krishna, worship of them, which will arise love. Swam, you, api, as well, nitaram, thoroughly, and myself, mam, cha, also, sukaya, we can be happy. If you just always seek the feet of Radha and Krishna, whose feet bestow, arouse love and pure nectar, if we bathe there, instead of in trying to be duplicitous, deceitful or hypocritical, and usually in regards to trying to enjoy the material world, like if you had a friend, and you invite your friend over, and maybe they see you have some wealth that they want, maybe you have some ornament, and it just so happens that after your friend visits, the wealth goes missing, and they say, oh no, I did not do. But always in your heart now, you'll always, even though you don't care, you'll say, all right, well, this person, even though I have affection for him, but it will hurt you that they stole. They stole. And due to their duplicity and deceitfulness, they're thinking maybe they'll get away with it. But actually, the only one they're really hurting is themselves. And you won't be so inclined to invite them over. Even if they asked you, they maybe would have given you that well. So similarly, we can be duplicitous also with the Lord. We can be saying, yes, Krishna, I'm worshiping you because I want, I don't know. I'm worshiping you because I'm your pure devotee. I don't want anything other than you. But in our heart, we're really saying, like, if I do this worship, He'll give me all of my desires. He'll give me my job. He'll give me my money. He'll give me this, that, and this. And this is actually deceit and kutinati. Deceit and kapata and kutinati, hypocrisy. So this is like a great donkey trickling its urine and burning us. This is kind of more to your more purely worshipping Krishna. Because right now we're kind of duplicitously worshipping Krishna. Yes, Krishna, I'm worshipping you, but secretly in our heart we're saying, yes, but I want this, and this. You see, I really am hoping. And thinking that he doesn't know anyway. He knows. Why are we being duplicitous? But also, don't be duplicitous to the Vaishnavas, your spiritual help. You have people who can help you. You have advanced devotees who can help you. And if you tell them, oh, Devanshu, how are you doing? And they, oh, I'm fine. And, they don't tell the personality what's really going on, what's really on their heart and things. If you're duplicitous with Guru or Vaishnavas, then ultimately the only one you're burning is yourself, because they can actually help you. They can help you overcome all of these problems. But if you hide and secretly do all of these nonsense activities instead, and you don't tell them that you're struggling with these things and you're really hurting, then ultimately they can't help you. they won't help you. Maybe they can, maybe they suspect, but they're not going to spend their time just like, well, I think Lalita does this nonsense thing behind closed doors, or I think no, they don't care. They're not gonna. But if you don't tell them, if you don't take the opportunity to utilize their association and get help from them, then you're ultimately you're bathing in donkey's urine, because the Vaishnava is there. They can actually help you overcome all these problems. So this is our and if we just simply worship Gandharva and Giridhara's feet, this will arouse prema, and we can bathe in this instead and be happy. So give up our deceit, give up our hypocrisy, and we should be grateful for the Vaishnavas. We should be grateful for all of the things that connect us to the Lord. And we should be grateful for our gurus. And so like that. So I think I'll end here. Is there any question? No? You're all ready to fully reveal your hearts to the Vaishnavas? Yes. It's a good idea, actually. Even if you don't need to tell everyone, like let's just say you have a really embarrassing, sinful thing that you can't give up. It's not like you need to announce it to the whole class, But maybe you find one person who is experienced and you can confidentially tell this thing to. And that person can help you overcome this thing. So, but it has to be someone who is experienced and who is purer than yourself, and who can help you. So anyway, these are some things. We're only halfway through the prayer. He prays a lot more, but we don't have time. So, but is that good? Does that make sense for the gratitude message? This prayer is talking about what he's really grateful for and what to really pray for, so that we don't fall into these vicious cycles of mundane existence. So, okay. Happy? Good? Ready for prasadam, Thanksgiving? Okay. They made a really special feast today. I ate it already. So, it was really good, actually. It was my first food items that I took not following a pretty strict diet in months. So, but Tanu and Devanshu melted my heart by always wanting me to honor some of their prasadam they're cooking. So I did today, actually.
They cooked all day.
And they cooked all day, so it was very good, with Preeti and Madhav. So,
Madhav's also been cooking for days.
yes, Madhav's always cooking. So anyhow,
They went somewhere else, but they were here this morning. And apparently it's stopping by this evening.
yeah, well, luckily we're a little late, so maybe they'll get here. So alright, let's do arti, let's chant. Madhav will do a nice chant and kirtan, and then we can all gratefully take prasadam together afterwards. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope you got inspired a little by this bhajan of Raghunath Goswami.